what exactly is trustee investing?
The easiest way to think about it, if you are a trusted investor, consider yourself like a bank. So if someone wants to go buy a house, they're going to go to the bank and they're going to say, I want to get a mortgage to buy a home. And then when you buy that home, that mortgage goes on the property and you make payments to that bank. Similar to trusted investing, think of yourself as the bank. So what happens is, so I'll use us as an example, Valkyrie Investments. We're what you consider a private money lender. So someone comes to us and they say, hey, I want to borrow some cash to my property, like a rental, or I need cash out of my property to inject capital into my business, things like that. We say, okay, your property is worth, say, $1 million. We'll lend you $500,000 or $600,000 of that. And what happens is we draw up the loan documents, we prep the terms, we get an appraisal on the property, we vet the deal, and then we put it out to our investors. And our investors will actually lend that money. So it might be one person who invests the entire loan of $500,000 or $600,000. It could also be 10 different people at 10% each type thing, as far as ownership goes. And then that money is then given to the borrower. That borrower then makes payments to us as the servicing agent, and then we give those funds to our investors. Typical returns are anywhere from 9 to 12 or 13%, depending on the deal. And there's benefits on both sides. Our rates are going to be higher. The investors will realize those rates because rather than looking at the borrower and saying, okay, I'm going to go ahead, here's your tax returns or bank statements, things like that, we're looking at the equity in the property. We're saying, does this loan make sense? Is it, does it have common sense underwriting, as I like to say? If you're borrowing $500,000 on a property worth $1 million, odds are it's a pretty safe investment. I don't want to use the word safe because nothing, no investment is ever perfectly safe, but at the end of the day, that's the way a lot of people will look at it. And then essentially we act as the middleman, collecting the payments, paying them to the investor until that loan pays off.